Hi, everyone. It's really nice to see so many of you already tuning in. Welcome to this week's Versal community session. Really excited to see everyone. If this is your first time on one of our sessions, hi, I'm Pauline. You may have seen me around the community space answering questions. So it's always a great opportunity to jump in here and connect with our community in more of a sync format. So if you're in our community space, drop a message in the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. If this is your very first time joining one of our sessions and you don't know where to drop questions or engage with us in the chat, don't worry. You just need to sign in to your Versal account and head over to community.versal.com. And on top of the page, you should see this session. Just navigate back here and click going in the event box below to unlock the chat. I'm really excited about this session. It's one of our community-led sessions. So we have a special community guest joining us here today. I see a couple of comments already in the chat. That's great. Just a reminder, if you are going to drop some questions in here, to adhere to our code of conduct, which you can find on the sidebar of our community platform. Cool. With all of that out of the way, nice to see everyone. I'm so excited to invite Joyce from Crossmint to talk to us today about how you use Crossmint's agent in V0. Hi, Joyce. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and
Yeah,
talking.
we've been talking about this session for a while, haven't we? So it's really exciting to finally jump on and chat. But yeah, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and talk a bit about Crossmint?
Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Joyce at Hello is Joyce on Twitter, and I do product at Crossmint. So Crossmint is basically a platform for developers to bring their apps and also their agents on chain. And what this means is, if you need like authentication, or if you need your apps or wallets to have, or your apps or agents to have wallets, and also agentic commerce, on-chain commerce, you would come to us and we would have to write APIs for you. So today is pretty exciting because I think this is something that we haven't really talked about publicly before, and we actually used V0 to build kind of part of the Cloud Code agent that we're putting out. And what I mean by Cloud Code agent, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. Share. Okay, so I think my colleague has dropped a link in kind of the tweet below. So if you want to follow along with this document as I'm kind of quickly going through what's happening, today I'm going to show you a Cloud Code agent by Crossmint, and this Cloud Code agent is going to help you quickly build like a template on-chain app. So it means that you can quickly build out like an authentication system and then also have a wallet to send and receive funds from. And if you go through this, you see that you have to initialize a cloud directory and create a sub agent. And what this means is this agent is basically going to clone our Crossmint Quick Start and just host it quickly for you. And it's going to be built with Next.js, and the front end is built on V0. So I'm going to show you how we actually did it. Like, obviously, we did it way before, but I'm going to show you what happens when we put screenshots of our Figma designs into V0, and how V0 actually generates it for us. So I'm not going to go through it step by step. You're just going to see me kind of doing things on V0 and then in our Cloud agent. But if you're interested, we do have a document for you to follow through. And this is super interesting for me, at least, because this Cloud Agent works with any IDE that you use. And if you want to rebuild the front end, obviously go to V0. And it's flexible enough that, if you don't want to use the front end that we designed and V0 generated, you can just go V0 and put in your own designs and try to work it out with this Cloud Agent. All right, so without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead to V0. And as you can see here, I've put in 2 screenshots. So I want my homepage to be designed like this. And then after login, it should look like this. So what really impressed me the first time we generated a design with V0 was I didn't even need to tell it that, this button after I sign in becomes this button and that, and like this page and that page. Like it just knew. And I was like, wow, this is kind of insane. So and I see that there's also like a quick action that's just like clone the screenshot. So I'm just gonna say, based on these screenshots, please generate the front end code for this app. And another thing that kind of impressed me was we actually generated like the entire front end in with like less than $1 in like credits. So I don't know if you know this, Pauline, but like I feel like V0 is a little bit cheaper than like the other, I guess, AI IDEs out there. Or I guess I don't really know what models you guys use under the hood as well, but I'm just guessing. So
I'm glad you feel that way because a lot of people in the community have also seen that those changes, especially since we made those pricing changes recently as well.
yeah, so this is great because obviously it's like going straight into just creating TypeScript files, and I'm assuming it's creating like a React app. And our Cloud Agent also creates the React app for you, so it was just very convenient to just mesh everything together with our SDK. And yeah, I'm just excited to see how it builds it out. Because I was just running a few test runs, and every time it just got like the perfect elements down. So while we're waiting for it to run, I think I kind of just wanted to go through like this document maybe a little bit more so that you don't just look at it generating. There are a few prerequisites if you wanted to kind of follow along. So this one obviously uses our Crossmint CLI as well, which you'll have to download. And we do already give you a prompt that you can just use. So in this Cloud Agent, it can clone, I think, 4 or 5 different quick starts for you. So if you just want to get a simple app, on-chain app up and running, you can literally just choose one of the quick starts. But today we're going to build a wallet app. So the prompt is super simple. It's just like create a Crossmint wallet quick start app and use this Cloud Agent. And after that, Cloud will actually bring you through like a few things, like a few prompts, and they're like, are you sure you're signed in? Like, is this what you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. But that's like all normal. So let's see if the generation is done. Also, I really like that you guys have like the new like sound effect now. So I know that you guys have actually recently done like generating code. So it's super like actually very, very close to like what we have in the design. It's just that obviously, sometimes like, text, colors and all that. And if you're actually building this, outside the live stream, you have time to sit down and change. And like these buttons are obviously a little bit wonky because when you put in the API, like the API comes with the front end code as well. But anyway, like when I click on this, it actually knows how to bring me to the dashboard, which I'm like, yo, like I didn't even need to tell it anything, and then it got all the buttons right. And yeah, so once we have this code, we actually used this and put it into building the Cloud Agent, which made everything just super simple. All right, so now I'm going to go to my terminal and actually run the Cloud Agent so that you can see what happens when I put in the prompts. Pauline, do you mind if I if you take down my screen for a
Of
minute, please?
course.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And
Yeah,
just a reminder for anyone who is tuning in, if you do have any questions for Joyce, drop them in the threads. We should be able to see them on any platform.
Yep. Okay. All right. So I'm back. So the one good thing here is, okay. So I'm on my Cloud Code terminal now, And all you need to do is go into the directory that you set up for this. So I already have something set up, obviously. And I'm not going to go through this because it's going to take a lot of time. And I did put in my prompt, which is I want to create a Crossmint wallet quick start, and I want to use this agent. And because I've already downloaded the agent file, which is the third step in the document, it knows what to look for. So it actually asked me to sign in to my it asked me to sign into my Crossmint console, and it's now trying to ask me to create a client key. So this is all like not things that you should worry about because the agent should be able to do it for you. And even if you run into problems, like it will just continue asking you like, is this what you want to do? Like which step should I take next? And it should not be asking me for my keys because I do have a key here, but let's just see what it's trying to do. So it's trying to create a new API key so they can put it in this quick start. And what is going on? Okay. So now it's just looking through some of the API keys commands that we already put in, and it should already know how to look for my existing keys. So as you can see, it, as I said, we already have a key in here. It knows that it should use this project, and it's just going to go ahead and try to actually host and run this. It's also a Next.js app. And let's just wait for it to run for a little bit, and then I'll show you what the end product should look like. And yeah. Right. All right. So we're just gonna see what's gonna go on. All right. While we're waiting, is there any questions in the comments that maybe I could answer?
There's no questions so far, but I do have a question myself, Joyce, which is
Yeah.
I'm really interested in Crossmint overall. What is the problem that Crossmint is set out to solve, and has that evolved since its like initial creation? I'm always curious about these like
Yeah, yeah.
say.
So a lot of people have asked us why is there the word mint in the name? And obviously I haven't been with the company since like the day it started, which is like 3 years ago. But I don't know if you remember, but like 2.5 years ago, NFTs used to be like all the rage.
I remember those days.
Yeah, so we were kind of like an NFT minting infrastructure company. So a
Okay.
lot of NFT projects actually used us to make minting a lot easier because it used to, like, the usual flow is that you need to well, like have a wallet, right? And you need to know what crypto is to actually even mint an NFT. And it's like, where do you even get this crypto? Like we didn't have all these stable coins back then. It was just like Ethereum or like USDT. And the founders of the company basically was like, what if we could enable people to like buy NFTs with the financial tools that they already have, for example, credit cards. And so that was kind of where we got started, which is why it's the word mint in it. And obviously then crypto started evolving towards actual use cases like what we're trying to do now. Like, people started actually making apps that require wallets,
Mhm.
making agents that required kind of on and off ramps. And so we're like, hey, like, why don't we try to solve these problems for these companies? And so we started evolving into a lot more product lines. And so that's basically what happened. And I think the good thing is now we have like 4 or 5 different products, and we actually got started in the agent space because we started building this agent kit where we helped agents basically be able to transact on any chain and cross chains. And so with the open source kit that we built, a lot of agents could finally do actual stuff on chain. And now we're also like super big into helping agents be autonomous with their money. So like we're like giving agents wallets, being able to fund these wallets that agents hold, and giving what was going on, and all right, giving them like wallets, and then also helping them transact with like this new thing that was like exploding today. Sorry, not today, but like this past week,
Mhm.
X42, which is actually very, very interesting. And I'm not sure what's going on, but let's give it like one more minute, and if it doesn't work, I'll just show you what the end products supposed to look like after we host it on localhost. Oh, all
It's
right.
always live demos, right? Oh, there you go.
Saying, okay, I hope this works, because like sometimes. All right, let's see. All right, it doesn't work. Mhm. That is interesting. What's going on? All right, I don't think I actually built it at all. Oh, it told me to run it in a separate.
How did I not see that?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's try this. Okay. CD. Oh. All right, let's see if it. Okay. This is what happens every live stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a real live stream without this.
Yeah, dude, that's fine. Let me show you what it's supposed to look like. Because it has actually run before. I can't find that tab. What is going on? But yeah, so this again, I just wanted to emphasize that this front end, built with V0, as you can see, that was what we generated, and then obviously we changed like the colors and the fonts and everything. And this was built with the Crossmint authentication um, SDK, and so you can sign with Google, and it's just going to bring us, hopefully it didn't sign me out. And then you come in and you get to see your wallets, your balance, you transfer your funds, and then you get to see your activity. So I just got $10 just now. And then if I wanted to put in a wallet address to transfer, I can do that as well. So just a super simple like setup. I wish I could do it. Literally worked the first 5 times I tried it today. I wish I could show you guys like the agent actually like doing like all the npm commands and like hosting on localhost for you. But anyway, like this is what it will look like once you get the cloud agent up and running. And if you ever wanted, if you're like, hey, like I like all these functions, but I don't like this front end that you designed, literally just go to Vercel and create your own designs and then put it into the Cloud Agent file, which is also open source and that you can also find in this document. And the link should be in the tweet below. So yeah, that's basically yeah, sorry.
Amazing. No, I was going to say, I actually wanted to, before you went into showing what the final product looked like,
Mhm.
you talked about the agentic, like finance kind of AI agents part of like Crossmint's offerings. How
Yeah.
do you see that like playing out in the developer platforms over the next year? Like, how will this grow or change?
So it's very interesting because I think a lot of people have dreamt about agents shopping for them. And like in all these hackathons, like people like to build like grocery shopping agents, right? But it wasn't until I think like 3 months ago that agents could actually start paying for themselves. So we see a lot of different solutions in the market right now where it's like, oh, like, agents can use Stripe, and you get like a one-time code every time, and you as the controller of the agent have to approve them every time because agents still cannot have bank accounts, right? So it's kind of still like a proxy from like a human. And then over here, what we're trying to work with is giving agents wallet, so giving every agent a wallet that can hold their own funds and can also enable them to pay for anything on the internet with stable coins like USDC. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of the agentic economy that we want to empower. And obviously people like Coinbase have done a really good job of exposing even more use cases with like X402. So now agents can also pay for services and like APIs and just keep streaming, right? Like the concept of streaming money is still pretty new. And with agents, it will now actually be possible because you can do microtransactions, and on certain crypto rails and on certain chains, it's actually super cheap. And in many cases, like if you work with Crossmint, you can even sponsor like the fees that agents or like the people who control them would have to pay. So where we see this going is in the next like 5 years. Well, at least where I see this going is in the next 5 years, agents and humans are gonna be on the internet together, and the lines are gonna blur so much that you wouldn't even know like if you're interacting with an agent or with a human online. And especially with like commerce, right? Obviously there's going to be problems that come with it, but I think in the next 5 years we're going to like iron out all the kinks, and agents will finally be able to actually transact on their own like autonomously.
Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. I like these are the things I don't really think about, especially in this space. So that's thank you so much for sharing that. I wanted to shift gears just a little bit with a question that I had around. Wait, is Crossmint open source?
So I mean, as a company we're not open source, but we welcome everyone. Is my screen still sharing?
Yes.
To
Yes.
actually go onto our GitHub. So we have a lot of open source code on our GitHub, and I think it would be a great pleasure of ours if you guys went in to try and told us what was broken. So one thing that we're really pushing right now is like our work in like the agentic finance space. So this all of this is open source, so you can see how agents actually pay for things online, how they use the new payment standards, and we also have this open source agent kit um, called Go. So this is open source as well, and you can find it all in the Crossmint directory for these agentic finance, and also the wallet app that I just showed. And then for Go, we have our own organization. So as a company, we're not open source, but we put out open source code like all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a question I always have to ask because there's a lot of folks in the Vercel community that's always wanting to contribute. So I always wanted to just highlight
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. A question I wanted to ask more again towards
Mhm.
like Vercel and the V0 community is you've used V0 and by extension, I'm sure like Vercel products. Is there anything you'd like to see more of in the V0 product itself? Whether that's like a feature request you have. I try to send these to the V0 team as much as possible so we can like improve the product from that front. Or maybe it's perfect.
There's always something to improve, and we have an amazing DevRel team, and they like designed, the um, basically whatever I showed you guys just
Mhm.
now, and obviously the code was just generated by V0, but we're not like designers. So if you guys have any feedback, not even just for this, but if you go into our open source kind of like repos and you're like, hey, like I just want to see what you guys are building, we have a lot of stuff here. We even have a fintech starter app, so you can go out there and build your own bank. Not literally, but with a lot of functions that banks already do. So these are just some of the things that I wanted to push. And I'm on Twitter anytime. If any of you guys have feedback or questions about some of the repos that we have or some of the things that we're building, just shoot me a DM. I try to track my requests every day, so I'll get back to you.
Yeah, amazing. One last question from me before we wrap up here, because I know we're just coming close to time.
Mhm.
For developers or companies that are curious about experimenting with AI agents or Web3 crypto space in V0, or just getting started in the space, what advice would you give?
So I think a lot of people coming from Web 2 to like non crypto to crypto are a little bit intimidated, and they're like, wow, this feels like a really different kind of game, especially for developers, because sometimes you use like different frameworks and like different languages. And I want to say like it's basically just create something that you want to see in the world. And I remember like using V0 like a year ago, and I had a lot of trouble. And I
Mm.
tried it again like 2 months ago, and now it's like one of my go-to tools because I can literally just build anything that I think of. And now in the year of AI, like you don't need to worry about like being like super crypto native, because tools like V0 is just gonna help you. Like I was just chatting with it. Like I wasn't even trying to make it build anything. Like I was just like, hey, can you tell me about like um this like Solana implementation that we want to do? Like, can you check out this like code like snippet that we maybe want to turn into like an actual design, but like it uses all these like APIs in the background, and it just like so succinctly like this explained it in like 5 minutes, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't need to read like documentation anymore. So I just want to say like don't be afraid. Like I'm not the best engineer, I'm a terrible engineer in fact, but I'm able to just like build stuff on the weekend that I want to use, that sometimes I put out on Twitter. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, that's the whole power of these like vibe coding tools. And V0, we see that a lot. It's like the barrier to entry right now in tech and just shipping apps, whatever that looks like. It's so it's anything really. You can just you just need to know how to prompt and how to to get to chat to V0 to build your products and apps. Joyce, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We don't actually have any more questions here in the chat, but I really appreciate your time here. Where can people find more about Crossmint, about your work, and things like that?
Yeah, so reach out to Crossmint anytime on our Twitter handle at Crossmint. And if you prefer to just reach out to me, I am at Handle is Joyce on Twitter. Um, and I guess that's pretty much where you reach out to me and to us. And if you just prefer to just clone something from our repo, we have a Crossmint organization on GitHub as well, and a lot of open source repos that you can just get started with.
Yeah, amazing, Joyce. Thank you again for joining us. I appreciate it.
You.
Amazing. Wow, we have hit 565 people in this session. So thank you so much for joining us. If you liked this session, we host these pretty much every week in the Versal community. So head over to community.versal.com/events, and you should see a list of all of our upcoming community events, both online and in person. Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you here next week.